Looky here, it's the Pat and JT podcast.
Pat and JT podcast.
Yesterday being Friday the 13th, as this podcast lands, you survived. It's your big day though. You're not superstitious at all.
I'm not. That's actually my lucky number. 13. I was born on Friday the 13th, and so 13 is my lucky day.
Your lucky day. Everybody else's unlucky day.
Isn't that about right?
Yeah.
And then my birthday though is not till December. So as we all know, because yours is the 14th.
Right.
So you got a Saturday night birthday this year.
It's gonna get turned.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna stay up.
That's one of your free gimme days, right? As
for a whole bunch of things.
Before we get the podcast started,
And it's my anniversary too.
On your birthday.
December. Yeah, remember we did that last year.
By design.
December. Yeah. So I got
Somebody has a memory problem.
2 times that day, yo.
Oh God.
Morning and night. Buckle up.
And I'm sure that our guest is glad to be here for this episode. So we got Dan Hoppen is in the studio with us. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. This is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. So Friday the 13th freak you out at all?
No, not really. Actually, when you mentioned you were born on Friday the 13th, I'm not 100% sure, but I think my dad was too. He's a 13th birthday in March.
No kidding.
And I think he was born on a Friday the 13th. So I'm not scared of Jason jumping out of any
Freddy
dark
Krueger
places or anything.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yes. No, I never was worried about 13 was always my number in competitions. Anytime I had an option to grab it, that's what I'd grab. Taylor Swift also. 13. She's on my. Is she December 13th too?
I don't
Is
know.
that her birthday?
I
know if it was the 14th, you'd know for sure because that'd be your birthday.
Yeah, just Vanessa Hudgens is on mine.
Taylor Swift, December 13th, 1989.
89 though.
go.
There's that cuts like a knife, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
1989.
We'll ignore the
forget
year.
that
Yeah, the year
part.
doesn't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter. Let's get to know you a little bit because a lot of people know who you are if they follow sports and of course your blog, which we're going to talk about as well. I think we've talked to you one time when we were doing our previous life. I know we talked about your blog, but we've never had the chance to really sit down and get to know you. And you're independent contractor now, I understand.
Yeah.
So kind of fill us in. Let us know what's all about Dan Hoppen.
I'm at an interesting stage in life where I'm just kind of I'm a very spiritual person. I'm just trying to let God lead me where he wants. So still doing the food blog, love doing that. I've been doing a lot of freelance work.
What is your food blog real quick before if people don't know what it is?
Oh, it's exactly.
What's it called?
It's called Restaurant Hoppen.
Restaurant Hoppen. Love it. Great name.
Which is, I would love to take credit for that, but I'm not smart enough to come up with that. That was someone, when I used to work for Husker Online, just one of the random message board people suggested that, and I was like, wow,
Great
this is
name.
the first good contribution to ever come out of a message board.
I mean, there's so many, and you picked restaurants, which is great. You could have been bar hopping. It could have been any sort of hopping. Yeah.
Had you ever, seriously, you don't think about that, putting your name in the place of a verb?
Right.
You wouldn't think so, but if you guys can imagine, if it's a very punnable last name, I might have heard like, oh, this place is going to get hopping tonight. I've heard that once or
Oh my
twice.
God.
Oh man,
didn't
I
think
would have
about
milked that like a cow when I was younger. This place is fixing to get hopping.
That was one of the things that I
That's
said to my
awesome.
wife. We got married about 5.5 months ago, and I was like, her last name was Gordon, which is, pretty common, and you can't do a whole lot with that. And I was like, just you wait. You're about to get the puns coming from left, right, every direction.
Yeah.
People love it, and they are convinced you've never heard it before, and you just have to go along with it and be like, yeah, that's really creative. Nice
That's
job.
funny.
That's good. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's gonna get hopping. Okay. Yeah. Now your wife and you said you just got married about 5-6 months ago?
Yes.
That's I saw the website. Saw the pictures and
Oh,
things
right,
on the website and everything. That's really cool. How'd you guys meet?
So totally random. I actually was like best friends with her twin brother in college. We lived together for 3 years, and we went to Nebraska. She went to Kansas State University, and she is an architect, and their schedules are just like crazy busy. So she never came up to visit. Jimmy, my friend, barely ever mentioned her. Like, I don't think I even knew he had a sister, much less a twin.
Really?
For like the first 6 months we lived together. And so like we never met or anything. And then Jimmy got married a couple years ago, and we were both in the wedding party, and we
Did you walk together?
yeah, we walked down the aisle together, and we
okay.
just kind of hit it off from there. We were We dated for exactly a year, and then got engaged and just got married.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That is crazy though, to think that she's like 1 degree of separation.
Right.
And wanting to date your roommates or your best friend. Was it roommate or best friend or both? Date his sister.
Both. Yeah. See, that was
Talk
the
about
thing.
that conversation saying, hey, bud, I want to start dating your sister. Did you have that conversation with him?
Yeah. Well, we went on a couple dates before I said anything to him.
Okay.
I was almost more nervous about that than I was asking
bet.
her out because I felt good. Like, I was like, okay, we got pretty good chemistry. I feel like she's going to say yes. Like, I feel good about this. I was like, what do I say to Jimmy?
Right.
Like, how do you come out and say it? So we went on a couple dates because I wanted to make sure that, like, there's something here. So I'm not having that awkward conversation.
It was worth the punch in the face that you might be getting.
Exactly.
Right.
So we went on a couple dates and I was like, yeah, I really like this girl. She's awesome. So I was like, okay, I got to tell Jimmy now.
Oh my God.
So I called him up and I was
man.
just like, hey man, I don't really know how to say this, but I guess, and I'm not really like asking for your permission, but I thought I should let you know that I'm dating Sarah. Like, I hope that's okay. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And like
Okay.
that was the conversation. And it was like,
Okay.
what do you think about Nebraska?
So you
this
heard me.
weekend?
You heard me, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
You heard what I said?
Your sister.
Jimmy,
your
you still
twin.
there?
Yeah. But then he warmed up to it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
As things move
and it
forward.
made the process a lot easier for me because I already knew her family. I already knew both of her brothers very well.
True.
So like I got to just skip that whole awkward stage
nice.
of the
Awesome.
dating process of meeting the parents and everything. She still had to go through it, unfortunately. But
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Speaking of which, do you have brothers, sisters?
I have one sister.
One
She's
sister.
2.5 years younger than me. She works at Lifegate. She's a middle school teacher.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Mhm.
Now you kind of mentioned just briefly, but your history is more of a sports writer.
Yes.
And most recently, I don't know what you want to talk about as far as how much in your history you want to talk about your past. But I mean, you're quite successful. You're well known.
I don't know why.
You got
Well, first of all, it's because your dad was well known.
That
in the
doesn't
state.
hurt,
Yeah,
yes.
and the last name is very recognized. Like it's
okay.
memorable.
Let's go back one because there may be some that are listening going, Hoppen. Why do I know that name?
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna go, oh yes. So your dad. Let's go ahead and go there.
So my dad, we can go all the way back to high school. He played for Benson, and then went on to Nebraska, was the all-time leading scorer there, and then played for about 6 years in the NBA. So I was actually born in Charlotte, North Carolina, while he was playing for the Hornets. So I'm a Southern boy.
That's cool.
Not really. I've lived here for almost 30 years.
That's cool though.
But yeah, so if you recognize the last name Hoppen, it's probably because of him, not
It's
me.
either the college years, the NBA years,
Right.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean, opening the door because of a name, some recognition
Mm-hmm.
and having that instant, that's fine. But you still got to follow it up.
Mhm.
You still got to bring whatever you're bringing to the table. What's your favorite as far as sports when you're talking anywhere sports? Does it matter?
I can really talk any sport. I think probably my favorite of all favorites is just the NBA. I just love watching it, and I'm, maybe it's in my blood, but I'm just drawn to basketball. So either NBA or Nebraska basketball, but love the NFL, love college football, especially Nebraska. Huge Cubs fan, which for most of my life was terrible. The last couple of years was great, and now is back to being kind of terrible again.
You might have. I heard a story yesterday that California is like one level of legislation away from approving a law that will allow college athletes in California to use their name and likeness to make money.
Yeah,
from the
Under
NCAA.
Armour's behind that.
Yeah, I think it's
saw that.
great. What do you think about that?
I think that's fantastic. I think there's no reason why these guys shouldn't be able to make money off their lot. Like literally none.
They interviewed a guy. It was on. God, what was I watching? It was something, a YouTube show or whatever. They interviewed a guy who is now he plays for the Argonauts, I think, a Canadian football league team, and he was released from his scholarship, the NCAA, like 5 or 6 years ago, because he had a vlog on YouTube and he was making a little bit of money. He'd been doing that since he was 12 years old, and it just kept going while he was in college.
That's ridiculous.
And they released him, and they had interviewed him, and he's just obviously a huge supporter of this.
They got to
new-
catch up with the times.
They have to.
Right.
Because everybody's an entrepreneur anymore.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't help it almost. If you're online, you have an opportunity. It's right there. Let alone that just using your image and likeness to sell it to another entity to cash in on your I guess, on who you are, right?
You.
Yeah.
On
You're
you.
like
Yeah.
like your small business. That's what you are. You're your own small business, and to know that someone else is making millions on you, and you're eating ramen noodles because you're a college student and you can't do it. It's
Insane.
wildly unfair.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. If there's someone at Nebraska who's on a full academic scholarship, they're very intelligent, and they're running a business out of their dorm room, that's perfectly legal. But if Adrian Martinez wants to go sign autographs for $10 a piece or whatever, somehow that's against the rule.
That's
That makes no
against the
sense.
Saying that out loud is
That
almost
doesn't-
embarrassing.
That right there just takes it down to its most simplest form. That's
Right.
so dumb
so dumb.
and unfair.
And the NCAA fighting it just because they don't want
Because the NCAA is the NCAA.
It's like the music industry 20 years ago. They were fighting digital downloads. No, buy records. It's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy records. I don't have a record player. Don't make me buy records. And and then they did sue some people too over that whole deal and won. Like some people were damaged heavily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
And kids, they were young.
college students, yeah. There was somebody had an idea though with that maybe the kids while they're in college don't actually get the money, but the
Right.
money is set in a trust. So when they do reach a certain age, 21, 22, whatever, then they get access to that money.
That's better.
I don't
It's a
see why.
step in the right direction.
Right.
I don't see why. Because like you're right. I mean, if you're a business major and you're running a business, you're making your money. They aren't setting it aside somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. They're not going to cut off
know.
your scholarship and be like, nope,
No.
can't make money.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just craziness. Because even if you do have a scholarship, you can have a job. But when you're playing sports in college, there's very little time for a job
Oh, no.
to go try to supplement whatever you already have, what little bit you do. That's crazy. Huh? Good one, Pat.
Yeah,
Nice
thanks.
catch
I'm
there.
done. I'm out. I'm out for the day.
Contribution made for this podcast.
Microphone.
You're just going to leave us now. That's fine.
Yep. Out.
All right. So we're going to turn the tables just a little bit. We're going to focus back on Dan Hoppen, by the way, in with us. And you're writing right now, freelance writer.
Yes.
Where can we catch your stuff?
All over. I started my own website actually, where I'm posting blogs and not daily, but probably 3 or 4 times a week devotionals. I've done some freelance writing for a couple different newspapers. There's a barbecue newsletter called The Smoke Sheet, run by a guy here actually in town, and he travels all over the country and does stuff. I've done some freelance writing for them. So I'm kind of in a weird period in life where I don't have like that traditional 9 to 5, although I'm looking, and if something came along like that, I would be open to it. But right now I'm just kind of,
Testing the waters.
yeah, just
See what's
keep
out there.
trying to keep every door open and see what God
Yeah.
has in store for me.
Exactly. That's
cool.
Your blog, your food blog. Let's go back to that.
Okay.
The website address is it just a guy with an appetite?
Yes. Because I want to make it very clear, like, I am not like a professional food reviewer. I'm not a restaurant critic. I'm not anything like that. I'm just a guy who
Is hungry.
I love to write. First of all, that's like the number one thing for me. I will write about anything at any time. I just love writing, and I love food.
Yeah.
So it was just obvious. Like, I'll just go to restaurants, eat it, and then write about that experience. And if people want to read about it, they can. If they want to be like, you're an idiot, that place stinks, and
Right.
you liked it, you have no taste buds, fine. They can think
That's
that
all right.
about
And they
me.
totally
I'm okay.
can.
And they
okay
will
with that.
tell me
There's
that.
a
It
guy that my
happens.
son watches on YouTube, just a humongous dude, just a slob of a guy. He calls him his name is something slob. Is what it is.
So he steers into
He
the...
steers it, yeah. He leans into it, and he'll just go what you do, but not quite as classy. He'll just go to like drive-through restaurants, take the food out, either a drive-through or a regular restaurant, and just eat it in his car behind his wheel. Clip his phone on his steering wheel and eat it, and then after he's done, review right there, and then that's his video.
People make money off of it.
It's
It's amazing.
Hundreds of thousands of views. This
Yeah.
guy.
Who was that couple? We've talked about him before. The couple that would eat the food. And it's like disgusting. I mean, because they're dipping sauces and
it's-
they're using their
I don't know.
name? I'm gonna
Somebody
have
can
to.
tweet it to us, but yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awful.
And the video, and they make so much money.
It's crazy.
So many views, people watching them eat. So you don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Although people have suggested to me that I should, and I'm like, I don't know.
But what if
how
you're
to
gonna get
do
like
it.
$5 or $6 grand a month?
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
If I could do that, I would love it.
Right.
I don't know how.
I don't
These-
either, but
God.
somebody is.
You're the guy, the slob guy or whatever.
Right.
He's smarter than I am.
It's lucky.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So your blog. When did you start that blog?
Ooh.
I mean, it's been around. It's been around
4 or
a
5 years ago. I was still working for Husker Online when I started. So yeah, probably 4 or 5 years.
How many restaurants have you been to? Because I saw your all-time list with your rating. Because you rank everybody on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
Right. So and point something sometimes.
Yes.
9.2, 9.4.
Yes.
Because I was going down the list and I'm like, there's a lot of restaurants, and I didn't look at the very bottom. I just started with the 10.
Right.
And coming back, you only have 110.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
What's your 10?
Block 16. I will.
Never
eaten there.
I am the ultimate stand for that place. I will say.
What's your favorite thing to eat there?
See, that's the thing that I love about Block 16. Okay, first I'll answer your question.
Okay.
The best thing to eat there, in my opinion, is the Croque Garçon burger. It's Alton Brown from the Food Network says it's one of his favorite hamburgers in the entire country.
Really?
It's really, really good. It has a sunny side up egg. It's got ham, which sounds kind of weird, but the burger itself is awesome. It's on a ciabatta roll. It's delicious. But the thing that I really love about Block 16 is every day around 10 a.m., they will, on Facebook and on Twitter, they will post their daily special. And they have something crazy every day. Like today, it's some like crazy chicken fajita Philly or something like that. And
it's brilliant.
Yes,
too.
it drums up interest. And then you go there at 11 o'clock when it opens, and there's a line out the door every single day because they're so smart.
And their pictures are perfect.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know who their food photographer is, but there's a skill to that. Because, like when you see pictures of food in print advertising, usually the ketchup's not ketchup.
No.
And the milk's not milk.
It's like glue or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
weird.
these pictures, that's their actual food.
Yeah.
And they take these amazing pictures. And it just makes you go, oh. You feel like Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Just like drooling. Would love to go there. But you're right. I've heard about the lines out the door every day.
And this is something that I think part of what makes them so cool is they are so good at interacting with their customers. Like they do these daily specials and they are so creative that they will find stuff to do every single day. They don't need help. But like there was one day, shameless plug here, there was one day where they actually took one of my ideas, named the sandwich after me, and then ran that as a daily special, and it was amazing.
Because you're gonna tell all your friends, "Hey, go eat that whatever."
I tweeted the heck out of it. That's for like days ahead of time.
It's brilliant.
It is,
and it's so simple.
Yeah,
they're just great people. Yeah, you guys need to check it out. I
wrote it down.
You wrote it down.
Yeah, it's downtown, so it's a little tougher to get to with parking and everything. And there, like I said, there's a line out the door, so it can be tough to like get in there at the right time, but if you can, the food is on point.
Oh my God.
Sounds
this is
good.
perfect time. I just have to mention it's like noon.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry right now.
I know. It's torture.
Bad time to be talking about a food blog.
So you don't have to mention names if you don't want to, but do you have an image in your head or a memory of the worst? Like where you go, you're like, I just can't even write. Maybe you didn't even write about it because it was so bad.
Yeah.
You don't have to say who. They can check your blog if they want to.
There are a couple places low on my list. There's one experience. I won't say the restaurant, but I have to bring it up because it's very, very memorable. I went there. It was in Lincoln, downtown Lincoln, probably about a year and a half ago. I went and I ordered a burger, and so I take like 2 bites into this burger, and I was like, man, this is something's not right about this, and it was like cold. I'm not like lukewarm, not like maybe it's been sitting out for a few minutes. Like it just came out of the fridge or something.
Cold.
It was cold. So, and I never do anything like this, but like, complain to a waitress or anything. But I called her over and I said, hey, I'm super sorry, but I think there's something wrong with this. Could I like get this heated up or something? Like I didn't even ask for a new meal. She's like, oh yeah, we'll just go through that in the microwave.
What?
And she just took it and walked away, and like I couldn't even respond.
Like
I was
literally,
just like,
he's gonna go put it in a microwave.
That's not for real, is it? And I was with my dad at the time, and he's like, I think your burger's just about to get nuked.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And then she brought it back like a minute later, and
what all was on the burger? I'm guessing things that shouldn't be in a microwave. I'm guessing.
Like hot lettuce now.
Tomato lettuce.
Yeah, there was bacon, barbecue sauce. Yeah, I don't think I ate very much of it.
Oh man,
That's one of the hazards of your job.
Job. Yeah.
I hate complaining at restaurants. You feel bad, but you shouldn't feel bad. Like you go, you're paying for a delicious, but I do too. I rarely complain. I'll stomach a lot of stuff.
Especially because the person that you're usually complaining to is not the person that made the food. So like if you rail on your waitress or waiter, that poor person, like they have to take it, but they just picked it up and brought it out to you.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
their fault
No power.
usually.
It does. It kind of depends on the status of the establishment of whether you roll the dice and complain about the cooking. Because there are some places you're like, don't even say anything because it's not going to be good. It's not
worth
gonna
it.
be good. But when they're a really fine place, when they're a nice place, they don't want that to walk out the door, word of mouth.
Exactly.
Right, you never know who
counts.
you're serving.
Right? That's the truth, too. When you were talking about journaling, I'm going to jump back real quick here, just writing. Do you journal? Or do you just write for others' consumption?
I do journal. It's not more so just like about my day or whatever, but I do pretty much just write all the time, whether it is on the food blog, whether I have like, I don't know how many Google Docs that are just filled with random thoughts from my head throughout the day about scripture, about whatever it is.
You just wanna write it down.
I'm just basically writing all the time. I love to write.
That's interesting. This is, yesterday's episode, actually, we had a friend of the show, Heidi Woodard, was on.
Okay.
Her husband is one of the coaches at Bell West.
Oh, yeah.
Coach
Yeah,
Woodard,
yeah.
right? Or her husband's dad.
Dad.
Her husband's dad. But anyway, and she's one of our fans. She blogs. She has maternal media. She had a sports blog for kids and basically telling parents just to back off and quit yelling at everybody kind of thing. But she loves that. And she was talking about that, just journaling. She loves to write. She loves to write everything down. She writes down I even took a flight the other day and I took one of my old journals with me and read it on the flight. Just kind of like, and I was like, oh my God, I would have forgotten all about this and this.
Yeah, which is so true.
And I get that. It's just there's a real vulnerability also to writing everything down. Mm-hmm. Because it used to be, it was the diary, right? You didn't want anybody to read your diary because, oh my God, you write it down. It's there for anybody to see. But anymore, it seems like a lot of people do it. That a lot of people like to just write everything down. It can clears their head out a little bit.
Yeah, I absolutely feel that. And I like going back and reading old stuff too. It's like reading something that I wrote 6 months ago and just seeing how much I've changed, how much I've evolved, what was I thinking at that time versus now,
yeah,
just see the different seasons in life and everything. It's just fun.
Funny?
It's
Yeah.
a way of
It's
documenting
just like
it.
what she said.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you can start seeing patterns.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, oh, I see now why that happened before. And then this, and you can kind of see that stuff. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that is interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the food blog. Okay.
Enough about life. Let's talk about food.
Get all deep here.
That's
Get all
really
deep again,
important.
right? Now, the food blog. Okay. So how many restaurants do you think you've actually reviewed?
Off the top of my head, I'd probably say between 60 and 70.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. So this was, for the most part, completely unintentional. But we were talking about, getting married and everything earlier. For the first year that my wife and I dated, we did not go to the same restaurant twice.
Oh, wow.
Which was completely unintentional for about the first 9 months. And then we realized that we hadn't done it. And so then we cheated a little bit and intentionally didn't return to any. But that was it kind of became our thing because I was trying to get this, this food blog really kind of more established. I was like, I need to, be going to new places and writing stuff. I can't just write, one blog every 2 weeks. People aren't going to care about that. And she was totally down. She was, we want to try something Indian? Sure. We're going to try barbecue? Sure. Italian? She was in for anything. She's such a trooper. And of course, she's so great about sharing, which helps a lot too.
Yeah, that's great.
So so it's really been fun. And I feel like Lincoln was good, but even Omaha is even better. We just have so many good restaurants of so many different cuisines that you don't run out of places. There are some cities where you would probably, once you get 20 deep or so, you're kind of like, okay, we're scraping the
Just
bottom
more
of the
of the
barrel.
same.
Yeah. And here, I keep a running list in my phone. We probably still got 15 places where it's we need to get here soon.
Right.
Because I want to try it.
That's it. That's the different types of cuisine, and that's a great point. And I think it has a lot to do with the ethnicity in Omaha. It's so diverse, more so than most people even barely realize.
Right.
You'll go from not even just locale, the locale even, but they open up their restaurants and it's like, oh my gosh, you're bringing a whole nother part of the world to town.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, Omaha. I think Kansas City is probably like that too.
Yeah, Casey.
Favorite meal, favorite cuisine. Let's go there. Favorite cuisine.
Barbecue. I absolutely love barbecue. If it didn't count calories or money or anything, I would eat barbecue for every single meal. And
Do you know, you mentioned the newsletter. Do you know Blaine Hunter, Porky Butts? Have you been out to Porky Butts yet?
Yes.
Do you know him?
So I have not gotten a chance to meet him, but I just went to Porky Butts yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, delish, right?
For lunch. It was very good.
Yeah.
my God.
And so
Oh, you posted that picture.
I did.
He posted a picture
really?
from the first time he went, comparing the presentation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The first picture was like, I'm in on that first picture. But then you showed the second picture and it's like, holy smoke, step up your game.
Really?
Wow.
Big time?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think we might have made a little bit of a mistake. So I've heard of Blaine for a long time. For those listening, he's a very successful competition barbecue pit master. So goes on the circuit, wins a bunch of awards and everything, and he wanted to open this restaurant called Porky Butts. Now, obviously, like competition barbecue versus serving en masse at a restaurant, those are two very, very different things, completely different ends of the spectrum.
I never even thought about that before. You're
Yeah,
right.
me
Because
either.
you're making that one meal
Yeah.
for the competition that you focus all your love and attention on.
And then have you to multiply that by X amount every
Yeah.
day. Yeah, that's rough.
So my family went on the third day that the restaurant was open, which, I mean, they were overwhelmed. But then I wanted to go back because everyone kept saying, hey, just give him time. This guy knows what he's doing. It's going to get better. So I went back yesterday, night and day. I would not be at all surprised if it's among Omaha's better restaurants within 6 months or so.
I was going to ask you a question real quick about
Yeah.
food.
We're gonna
Well,
stay
that's
on
a shocker.
We're gonna stay on the food
Yeah.
train.
Let's stay on
Okay,
the
so
food.
I love just trashy food, right? I
Oh
love.
my God.
I love. I love bologna. I love Spam. I love.
Okay.
Braunschweiger is not trashy. That's classy as far as I'm concerned. But I just love like
Do
making.
you eat any of these? Do you eat any of those that he just listed?
bologna, Spam, or
Braunschweiger.
More or less. Maybe not
maybe
so
more
much.
on the less side.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
So,
I
but
love this.
like making. Okay, not. I know that you have like your palate's a lot more sensitive than mine. I don't
more
care.
sophisticated?
Right, there you go. That's what I- But like mixing, like I'll cut up hot dogs and eggs on a Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah.
And said, okay, so you'll do something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Hot dogs and macaroni and cheese.
It's delicious. I
Thank
mean,
you.
people can turn their nose up at it and say, oh, that's little kid food or whatever. But if you put a bowl of it in front of them, they're going to
Gone.
say, yeah, that's awesome.
Mac and cheese, without a doubt. That's like, and that's one of those things that either you do it really well or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I mean, it's like you can go to Hy-Vee's mac and cheese is legit.
Oh, it's good. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta stay awake 'cause it's at like 7,000 calories. It's so good.
You just there's some meals where you just kind of have to turn off that part of
Just
your brain.
go with
I mean,
it.
I'm a very health conscious person, so about 70% of my meals, I'm really thinking about what I'm putting into my body. And sometimes it's just like, you know what? Ignorance is bliss. This is
do it.
delicious.
Just enjoy.
I'm not gonna worry about my calories right now.
Once a week,
Right.
go out, hit a place, and just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Yeah.
all right.
What's another one of your favorites, Pat?
I mean, anything. There's not one thing I can think of that I don't really like. But it's like there's like the sketchy. Braunschweiger is my favorite. I love Braunschweiger more than anything. Spam is delicious.
What do you eat your Braunschweiger with? Just
Nothing.
stand there and
Whatever.
Eat it.
Yeah, I'll just cut off slices and eat it, or I'll put it on bread with a like Miracle Whip.
Okay.
I mean, it's just
Does
just
sound good, though.
fantastic.
That
It's
sounds like picnic food.
it's like yeah.
I'm like, I want to make it very clear. I'm not like super elitist on food or anything. One of my favorite things to do, like, is just make waffles in a waffle
yeah.
maker. I don't care. I'll use the store brand stuff. I absolutely love that. Like, I eat that for breakfast probably like 30-40% of my meals.
Pizza rolls. Crush them.
Totino's pizza
Who
rolls.
doesn't
The
love
best.
pizza rolls?
The best.
You say you don't love pizza rolls, you're
I
lying.
don't believe you.
And a little pro tip too. You know the Tortino's pizzas themselves, right?
Oh yeah.
Take those and put 5 or 6 on top of them of each other. Put them in the oven and you bake. It's like a pizza lasagna.
Oh my.
Yeah. game changed right now. It's delish.
He needs to take that on the road, doesn't he?
Oh boy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
In college, I probably shouldn't say this because it's just embarrassing, but I loved Totino's pizzas so much in college, and my metabolism was much better at that point. I would just make one of those and not even cut it, and just sit there and
yeah.
just
Fold it over.
Just eat the entire thing, not even like cut it into fourths or eighths or anything.
You know
Just
what's funny
and
is
just
that-
crush the whole thing, like all 2,500 calories, and not even think about it.
I'm 45 and I've done that twice in the last calendar month. So, and up your game a little bit when you fold it over. Put like ranch down the middle.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Ranch
So it's like a taco.
Pizza tacos.
Right?
And you got like
put a little extra cheese on top.
Yeah,
of it.
you gotta. But now, like, what we got to figure out, like, what's the ground beef or the chicken? Like, what's going in there? Because like the pizza's the shell.
Yeah.
The ranch is like the sour
Topping.
cream.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
I know. It
Maybe-
depends on
I
which
got a
one you
homework
grab.
assignment.
Maybe
now,
just
it sounds
pizza,
like.
pizza rolls.
You can. Oh,
There you go.
I'm so hungry.
so good.
I'm so hungry.
It was a mistake to do this at noon.
I told Pat earlier, I was like, gosh, we had some other clients that had come in earlier today, and I was like, oh man, I was going to run real quick to go get something. One of my favorite things, fast food wise, okay, let me ask this. Do you have a fast food list as far as your restaurants, whether they're chains or not, whatever?
In terms of like pure fast food, and this goes right back to like not being an elitist. Like, if I have to be honest, like if I can only choose one, I love
yeah.
Chick-fil-A, but I'm gonna say Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. I know it's trashy. I know it's
No,
terrible
it's
for
delicious.
you. It's freaking delicious.
It is
is.
delicious.
I absolutely love it.
Absolutely is. I love taco, but we've joked about it before. Taco Bell, everything on that menu is exactly the same 5 ingredients in a different order.
Yes, it's just packaged a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Sometimes crunchy, sometimes soft, sometimes
Yep.
wrapped, sometimes folded. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's all the same stuff. One of my favorites I don't get very often, but is Culver's chicken strips.
Oh yeah, Culver's is so good.
There are some, and they're just lightly breaded.
No, they're delicious.
Oh my God.
So Don and Millie's are good too. They have good chicken
I've never
strips.
had their chicken strips.
They're good.
I've heard about their Frenchies.
Cheese Frenchies are sick.
You walked Don
So
and
good.
Millie's.
Yeah, we do. It's in our neighborhood. Walk to Don and Millie's, have a
There you go.
margarita,
Have
and
a
we each have a
margarita.
kids. My wife and I each have a kids meal to watch our calories, and then walk home. Yeah, the cheese Frenchies are just insane.
Okay, all right. So that's
We gotta
enough.
stop. We have to stop.
have
it.
to
Yeah,
stop?
I'm literally. You can hear my stomach growling. Starving.
Well, we would love to have you come back again if you'd ever want to.
Of course.
Yeah,
This
just
is a
like-
blast. Are you kidding me? This is
sit and
awesome.
Talk about good foods and throw some good suggestions out there or whatever else that you got going on.
Yeah.
Huskers are playing as we speak. Huskers are playing tonight because
Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois. You got a good feeling about it?
Yes. Although I had a good feeling when they played Northern Illinois 2 years ago, and had a much
about that.
less good feeling after the game. But no, I think they'll get back on track. It's just so hilarious. Like, and I know I shouldn't even go on the message boards, but I do it just for fun. And people are like starting to doubt Frost, and they're saying,
It's crazy.
should we bench Martinez? Like, should we
Oh, my
rotate on the
God.
offensive line? It's just like,
Oh my gosh.
no.
Chill out.
Yeah, they lost one game. It was a tough game to lose, but
It was also a good learning experience for a lot of the players. I mean,
Right.
they were rotating a lot of players in, and for good reason. I'm still very optimistic.
oh yeah, I am
So,
too.
and speaking of optimistic, what about Hoiberg first season at Nebraska for basketball? Since that's kind of your jam.
I'm excited.
Is your dad pumped? Have you guys talked about it?
Yes.
Is he pumped?
He's very excited too. And I mean, we both really liked Tim Miles personally and everything. Wanted him
Yes.
to succeed, but it just wasn't happening. I think everyone involved, probably even Tim, would admit that a change was needed. And yeah, I think Fred has brought a lot of excitement to the program. He's obviously brought in a lot of new blood. That's going to be the most interesting thing. Is like first 4 or 5 games. I'm actually gonna have to buy a program and be looking at it all the time and be like, who's number 13? That was a really nice play. Okay, yeah, that guy. Because
Yeah.
we've seen one player play. Everyone else is new, which is exciting, but it's also like, I have no idea what any of these guys
Yeah.
do well or what they look like or anything.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah,
That'll
so
be
it's
fun.
gonna be fun.
That's like probably about 6 weeks. 4
From now,
weeks.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know when basketball officially
When's
starts.
basketball
It really
October,
kind of
November?
it gets ramped up mid-November, I
Okay.
would say. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's coming.
It's coming. Got a little time to get studied up.
Yes.
Good deal. Well, Dan Hoppen, thank you for coming in. Where do people find you online?
justaguywithanappetite.wordpress.com. On Twitter, just Dan Hoppen. Keep it simple. DanHoppen.com if you want some Christian stuff or devotionals, stuff along those lines.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
Good deal.
You're the
Thank
man,
you.
Dan.
All right, thank you
Another
guys.
website you guys should go to is kuglervision.com.
Yes, kuglervision.com. They've been a supporter of our podcast for quite a while now, and we enjoy it so much. We love having Dr. Kugler come in. We've had Dr. Stunts come in. Got a chance to kind of do a get-to-know-me kind of episode like we just did with Dan.
Nice.
Which was really fun because we got to talk about the play for the Huskers, which was fun. And some of the listeners didn't realize that was him.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. So very cool. But another thing that's very cool is if you have glasses or contacts and you're thinking about getting out of them, this is a great opportunity for you. On kuglervision.com, you can schedule your own consultation, have all the tests done in your eyes, and find out what your options are. And for some people, it might be same-day procedure.
Yeah, and when you do find out your options and you want to move forward with the procedure, just use the promo code PatentJT 2019, PatentJT 2019, and you get $500 off the procedure that works for you.
And they're
It's a
doing
big
that
deal.
just to say thank you for supporting our podcast. And we want to thank you as well. So please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. We really do appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Parkville Media Production.